Welcome to Box Recaps. Today I'm going to explain the movie We Have a Ghost, released in the year 2023. The movie starts and we see a haunted house where a ghost lives and does not let any rent owners stay in the house. It has been going on for years now. 1 year after the last owners fled in terror, the Presleys are shown a house. Suspicious of the low price, the estate agent insists that recently prices have been low. Frank, the father, tells his two sons that they're going to live in this house for a while, but his youngest son, named Kevin, is sick of moving around every few months. Frank tries his best to keep his sons entertained, but the boys do not really seem that happy with their father. His elder brother, named Fulton, is not really that close to him, and he often stays busy with his own crap and does not give a fig about what others are up to. On the first night, Kevin, the youngest, investigates a sound in the attic. Using his mobile phone light, Kevin makes his way to the storeroom as he looks around for whatever is making that noise. Kevin starts feeling cold all of a sudden, and when Kevin turns around, he sees a ghost standing right behind him. Kevin, however, does not get scared at all. He instead starts laughing at the ghost and even turns on his camera to take a picture of him. The ghost tries his best to scare the boy, but Kevin instead keeps laughing at his action, and the ghost now starts getting annoyed. Kevin then just ignores the ghost and makes his way to his school the next morning, where he sees a young girl named Joy, who is also his neighbor. As the two get to know each other better, they start liking each other's company. It turns out they have a lot in common. The girl then asks him to go with her somewhere, but Kevin says that he needs to go home because he has to study. The boy gets home and quickly goes to the storeroom. He starts calling out the ghost. The ghost again tries his best to scare off Kevin, but has no effect whatsoever. Kevin and the ghost then start talking, and Kevin goes on to tell the ghost that he's not going to get scared of him because there's nothing scarier than his own life. Sits down to talk with the ghost, only to discover that he is mute and does not remember his life back when he was alive. Kevin calls him Ernest, as that is the name on his bowling shirt. Kevin tries his best to ask him how he died, but Ernest does not remember anything whatsoever. Suddenly, Kevin's big brother, Fulton, barges in and begins bullying Kevin for his phone. He then starts trying to snatch the phone from Kevin because Fulton did not drop Kevin at his school in the morning and he had to walk. So when their mother got to know about this, the mother confiscated Fulton's phone as punishment for not taking Kevin with him. Both of them get into a physical fight. While Fulton is of course more powerful than Kevin, Kevin has the help of the ghost and shoves his brother away, who gets scared and leaves. Later, Frank watches the video of the ghost in Kevin's phone and tells his son to share the video with him. Kevin does just that, and Frank tells both the boys to keep the ghost thing a secret, because if their mother got to know about this, she's going to get scared, and they're going to have to move again. Frank goes on to create a YouTube channel the very next day and posts the video on his channel. Later, when he checks it, he sees that the video has been watched by over 1,000 people. He now starts taking interest in it and wishes for the video to hit thousands of views so that they are able to make some money of it. The video keeps going more and more viral, and a doctor named Leslie also watches the video. She is at first horrified, but then she, just like all the other people, think that it is just a fake video. Frank and Fulton now want to prove it to their viewers that the video is not fake, so they plan on making another video to prove their point. They take Kevin to the storeroom again and start calling out the ghost, knowing that Kevin is friends with the ghost, so he must appear to answer his calls. They then request Kevin to call the ghost, and Kevin starts singing, and Ernest eventually comes out. This is when Kevin's mother also gets there. She now knows about the YouTube video, and she is pissed at her sons and her husband. However, when she sees Ernest with them, her anger changes into fear, and she starts screaming right away. Hearing her screams, Ernest also gets scared and goes on to hide inside the wall. We then notice that Frank has been capturing all of this in his phone, and he's happy to have another video which proves that the ghost is actually real. He then gets ready to upload the video on YouTube. His wife is not all happy about it, but he tells her that he has been waiting for his big break his whole life. But today he finally feels like this is going to be his big break. The video is published, and it catches the internet by storm. The Presleys are now celebs. Their video is on many social media platforms, and proper debates are going on regarding this video. The name on everyone's tongue is Ernest. They have over 1 million views. Dr. Leslie also watches the second video, and this time, even she believes that this ghost is a real one. She then goes to another one of her colleagues and tells him that the ghost is real and that they should work on it. The man at the CIA, however, thinks that the video is fake, so he goes on to call the guards and have her thrown out of his office. On the other hand, there are hundreds of people gathered in front of Frank's house. Even reporters from different channels are there, and Frank now feels like a celebrity. Dr. Leslie then makes her way to Frank's house and warns him about the ghost, telling him and his family that the ghost is dangerous, and it could pretty much finish off their whole family. She tells them about an old program she ran with the CIA called Wizard Clip, with its goal in mind to capture a ghost. When the costs of the program was made known to the public, they scrapped it, making her the scapegoat. When she tries to convince them that Ernest is dangerous, Frank does not want to listen to her. But the viral video of Frank at the park sets the CIA in motion. She then wants to search their house, but she of course does not have a search warrant, so they tell her to get out of there. Kevin, on the other hand, wants to help Ernest. Ernest asks the boy why he wants to help him, and Kevin says that he wants to help him because he's not like others, and he knows that Ernest is stuck there, so he would like to help him. Joy then reveals Kevin's house as the House of Death due to its abandoned state. Once the video of Ernest goes viral, Joy crosses paths with Kevin in the library, and Joy quickly finds that the house's owner, Ernest S., lived there from 65 to 71, and is now residing elsewhere, but he is not the titular ghost. We then see the West Bay cable TV medium Judy Romano, who likes to shoot videos on these supernatural things because this is what her channel is all about. She comes to film meeting Ernest. Frustrated with Frank for taking advantage of Ernest and failing to connect with him, Kevin shows Ernest various horror clips to help him scare off the set. Frank tries his best to normally call out Ernest, but he refuses to come out. The people on the set now start thinking that all of it is just fake, and that Frank has been making a fool out of everyone. Just as they're about to get out of there, the lights in the room start flickering. Things start breaking, and this is when Ernest appears. All of them get scared because Ernest intentionally wants to be scary this time, and he's been taught some tricks by Kevin too. He goes on to jump at the crew members and scares them with his long tongue. Judy gets so scared that she jumps out of the window. Before she does that, she still says that this whole thing is fake, and the ghost could very much be from a hologram. All this incident has been captured in the phone by Fulton, and he goes on to upload the video without telling Frank about it. Frank is, however, happy that he posted the video when Fulton comes to him and tells him that his video has gone up to 3 million views. Kevin then talks to Ernest. He tells him that he needs answers to many questions. But in order to be able to get to those answers, he's going to have to get out of this house. Ernest does not want to get out of the house at first, but after much persuasion by Kevin, he understands that what Kevin tells him is for his own benefit. After many years, he finally steps out of the house. Joy convinces Kevin that they need to take Ernest out to a bar once belonging to the house's past owner to try and jog his memory. When they are out there, they're seen by a group of people who go on to chase them, but they manage to outrun them somehow. When Ernest is standing in front of an amusement park, he sees a little girl on a swing, and it seems to jog his memory. Ernest goes on to call out the name of a little girl, and someone records this as well. It is also posted online, and Dr. Leslie now gets the attention of the CIA because Ernest has been getting famous as of late. She finally gets the green signal from the CIA to work on this case. Joy and Kevin now start to uncover the truth about Ernest's past, discovering a photo of him with the previous house owner and a little blonde girl at the park who gives Ernest vague flashbacks. Unfortunately, he unintentionally scares the child, causing the public to believe Ernest is malevolent. Frank does not like this because public being scared of Ernest is something he wants to avoid. Frank still wants to cash in on Ernest, so he wants people to like him. However, that night, Dr. Leslie makes her way to Frank's house. She's a horror writer and happens to be pretty good at what she does. She wants to take a look at Ernest and determine the truth about him, so that she is able to write about him as well. She now even has the search warrant, so Frank and his family are not able to stop her from entering the house, but by the time she gets there, Ernest has already left with Joy and Kevin. The next morning, the Presleys are coerced into doing an appeal to apprehend the trio. The broadcast comes on a convenience store TV, and they outrun the many police cruisers chasing them. The three of them are on their way to see the real Ernest, and after having driven for a long time, they finally get to the house of the real Ernest. The man there tells them that the ghost is his old friend named Randy. His name is not Ernest. He tells them that Randy is actually the brother-in-law of Ernest S.'s wife, Ramona. He claims that Randy became a drunk, not able to cope with his wife's death from giving birth. He left his 4-year-old daughter with them and disappeared. The couple did not plan to have kids initially, as they preferred to travel, but instead continued to raise their niece, June. Randy is the one who left June with them, saying that he will be back for her, but after the day he dropped her off, he ran away and never came back. Kevin says that Randy might not have ran. It is possible that he got into an accident and was not able to get back. But Ernest tells them that Randy was not really a good man. He always wanted to rid himself of his daughter. Ernest says that Randy spent all his money and sold all his goods for wine because he became a drunk. He might have died due to drinking. Kevin does not believe any of this because he thinks of the ghost as a good being. On top of that, the ghost himself does not remember anything, so it is hard for Kevin to believe all this. Ernest, the ghost, then goes on to make himself visible, and the CIA swoops in. They get their hands on Randy this time. They manage to lock him up and tell the others that they're going to take him away to conduct some experiments on him. Back home, Kevin is depressed. Frank apologizes to him, recognizing he's been selfish at the family's expense, and tells Kevin he's a much better man than his own father. In the CIA facility, Randy is now right in front of Leslie, who gets a little emotional as she gets to know the ghost better. That day, she goes on to realize that all ghosts are not bad. However, she is sad at the realization that the CIA boss just wants to conduct experiments on Randy. In the meantime, Frank keeps trying to cheer his son up, because Kevin is now sad all the time. Frank keeps telling the boy that he's proud of him for how he stood up for the ghost and tried to protect him. In the meantime, when the experiments are going on, Randy sees a guard wearing a pin on his shirt. This is a bird-shaped pin, and it right away jogs his memory. He then remembers that during a visit to the house, Ramona carried June away while Ernest S. killed Randy with a blow to the head because he wanted his daughter, as Ernest did not have his own kids. Ernest is being acted upon for not complying, but Dr. Leslie rescues him, realizing he's not dangerous, as well as the government's intentions for him. Ernest S. shows up at the house to kill Kevin, believing he's helping Ghost Ernest get his revenge. He reveals that when Randy's wife died, Ramona, who was infertile, plotted to murder Randy and take June for their own, with Ernest S. finishing the job for her by killing Randy. He chases him to the attic, where Ernest and Frank tackle him out of the window. The CIA interrogates Kevin, seeking Ernest the ghost. He doesn't divulge anything, but a flashback reveals that Kevin and Frank reunited him with his now 50-plus-year-old daughter, June. Happy at last, Ernest finally is at peace and moves on to the afterlife, but not before sharing a heartwarming goodbye with Kevin. In the last scene of the movie, we see that Kevin and Joy are now a couple. As Kevin leaves the house, a light flickers in the attic. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.